What is up, everybody? Matt Parrino from NYUp and Syracuse.com coming to you from Nissan Stadium right here in Nashville, Tennessee, where your Buffalo Bills are 4-1 after a 14-7 win over the Tennessee Titans today for the second straight year on week 5 of the season. Last year it was in Buffalo, this year here in Nashville. The Bills get a very important win over a Tennessee team that at the end of the year is probably going to be in the mix in the AFC. And what the Buffalo Bills did today is they went on the road. It wasn't pretty at times in this game, but what they do is they come away with a very important win, go into the bye now at 4-1, and I think that there are plenty of positives to take away from this game. And listen, if you're a Bills fan, you have to start wondering, and I know it's the last 20 years have been a lot to take, but you have to start wondering that this team might actually be for real. I tweeted it out after the game. Kansas City and New England are the only two teams with a better record in the AFC right now in the entire conference. And the Buffalo Bills are playing at a very high level on the defensive side of the ball, and today they did enough to win. Josh Allen, 2 touchdown passes, a little over 200 yards, but the stat to take away from this one, he was 71% completion percentage with his passes, going 23 of 32 in the game. There was one costly interception. It's one of those ones we continue to talk about. It's the head scratcher. It's the mistake that, he can't make, and he knows it. And he talked about it after the game. One of the first things out of his mouth was, I know I made a mistake. I know it was one of those plays like I had against New England. But what I liked is he rebounded. He had that one mistake. He came back, led the touchdown drive to win this game. And lo and behold, on the other end was Duke Williams, the rookie wide receiver, Canadian Football League standout from a season ago, former highly touted prospect out of Auburn. Made some noise in the preseason. We talked quite a bit about him in August. 2 touchdown catches in the preseason. Comes out here today and has a massive play. He ended up with 4 catches in this game and really just changed the complexion and the dynamic of this offense. You noticed a different style of play, a more physical style of play, and everybody on this offense was juiced up about it. I talked to John Feliciano after the game, and I said, I asked him a question, and he quickly kind of turned it to talking about Duke Williams. And after he scored, going over right behind me here and celebrating not only with his teammates, but the crazy amount of Bills Mafia fans that were in attendance today. We were talking about it a bit up in the press box. I'd guess about 40% Bills fans in this stadium today. Jordan Phillips said that he felt like it was about 80% with how loud it was, and we'll talk about Jordan in a second. But for Duke Williams to come in here on short notice here, he's been working towards this all season long, and to have the impact that he had in this game, it starts to really open up your eyes for the possibility of this offense. Josh Allen looked perhaps the best that he's looked all season long. Again, the 1 interception, but he was moving the ball. He was consistent. He took the checkdowns when they were there. He threw the ball away when he knew there wasn't anything to be done, no play to be made. So we're starting to see some progress, and I like the way that he bounced back. For Duke Williams, he plays Zay Jones on the bench today. Zay Jones was only out there for 1 or 2 plays, kind of clapping it up a little bit. Duke Williams talked about it after the game with how important Zay Jones was for him going into this game. They prayed together. Duke said that he respects Zay Jones and really appreciates what he brings from a team mentality. But you look at it, from a fan's perspective and an overarching perspective on this team, and Zay Jones's role is very much in question at this point. This is a former second-round draft pick who just hasn't been getting the job done this season. 7 receptions in the first 4 games for Zay Jones. 4 today for Duke Williams. And, Duke Williams brings a physicality and that red zone threat that we talked about in the preseason that obviously Josh Allen took advantage of today. On the defensive side of the ball, man, was Jordan Phillips. He was jacked up today, and he was getting after the quarterback. Marcus Mariota for the Tennessee Titans, very, very frustrated today. He didn't throw any interceptions. He's done really well with that, but he was sacked 5 times, I should say. 3 of those were by Jordan Phillips, and Jordan Phillips is a guy that's kind of been an afterthought a little bit here as we've gone through the season. A lot of hype for Ed Oliver, a guy that the Bills drafted at number 9 and was supposed to come in here and cause some real disruption, the interior of that defensive line today, it was Jordan Phillips. He was ready, raring to go. He called his shot earlier this week. He said, I am going, you guys are going to put some respect on my name after this game. He said, I predicted I was going to have a big game, and that's what he did. And, it's just unbelievable to watch how quickly he's able to get off the line of scrimmage at his size. He really forces teams to double team on that interior, and he was doing it on both sides against the right and left guard. Micah Hyde called him a dog. Jerry Hughes said that he's an absolute terror on the inside. And Lorenzo Alexander said that, listen, when you have a secondary as good as the Bills have, and with Micah Hyde, Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, even Levi Wallace, who's been playing really lights out here this season, they're able to do so much in disguising their coverage and what they're trying to do, and then holding up in coverage. That gives Jordan Phillips, guys like Jordan Phillips, Jerry Hughes, more time to get after the quarterback, and they did that today. They really stifled Derrick Henry as well. He only had 3.9 yards per carry in this game. And, down here, right at this end zone behind me, the Titans scored 2 touchdowns that were both called back because of penalties. And, props to the Bills' defense. They held up. A lot of defenses in that scenario backed up against their own goal line would fold. Mike Vrabel, the head coach of the Titans, sent out Cairo Santos for his 4th field goal attempt of the game, and it was blocked by Darryl Johnson. And the rest is history. The Bills were able to wrap this one up down the stretch. Cairo Santos 0 for 4 today. So you think kicking problems in Buffalo over the last 10 months, they got some big ones here in Tennessee. Also a shout out to Corey Bojorquez. I know we talk a lot about him when he's not doing very well, and there was obviously the block punt last week. I thought he was really on today. He pinned the Titans back early and often with some really nice punts. So shout out to Corey Bojorquez. He had himself quite a game. So we're sitting here right before the bye. Quite a weekend in Nashville, I have to say. I was out last night in downtown on Broadway. The absolute unbelievable turnout from Bills fans. It's unlike anything I've ever seen before, and I've been familiar with this team for almost 30 years. So very impressive showing. This is a team that, win or lose, we know over the years this fan base supports, but it was a really special weekend, and you saw it play out today with how influential that was in this stadium. It was almost like a home game for the Bills. So we're sitting here at 4-1 right before the bye. Washington, Philadelphia, and then Miami is next up out of the bye. And you're starting to think 10, 11, maybe even 12 wins for a team with this good of a defense. You have to start having that conversation. And, a lot of injuries in this game today. We'll have to monitor that over the course of the break. On the offensive side, Mitch Morse, the center, left with an ankle injury, head injury for Cody Ford. He could end up in the concussion protocol. And then on the other side, Trent Murphy left the game, and Matt Milano with a hamstring injury. He actually had to be FaceTimed into the post-game celebratory speech with Sean McDermott. So that's something to be keep an eye on. You look at Devin Singletary, Taron Johnson, both battling hamstring injuries of their own. They did not play again today. So Matt Milano could be looking at maybe a few weeks on the shelf, and that's going to be very important to see how they fill in for him. It was a combination of Lorenzo Alexander and Maurice Alexander today. It'll be interesting to see if they can get Corey Thompson back in the mix because I think that would help cushion the blow a little bit if Matt Milano is going to miss any type of significant time. But rejoice! Bills Mafia, your team is 4-1. We are headed to the bye. We will have coverage coming back a week from Monday to get you ready for the Miami game back in Buffalo. 3 straight home games. I have a feeling that New Era Field is going to be quite lit over the next month. For NYUpSyracuse.com, keep it locked there for all your Bills content. I'm Matt Parrino. As always, thank you so much for watching.